I had been hearing the scratching sounds for weeks now. That slow, relentless scraping, like nails dragging across something sharp, something metallic. Every night, just as I lay down, there it was. At first, I thought it was mice, maybe some animal in the walls. But this was different. It was methodical, deliberate. Like something was waiting for me to notice it. The first night it really started to get bad was after I came home from work, tired and pissed off, with no patience left for any of it. The noise was louder than usual. It wasn't coming from the walls anymore, it was coming from downstairs. The basement. The fucking basement I hadn't opened in years. I ignored it, of course. Shut my door, downed some whiskey, and figured I'd sleep through it like I had been. But sleep didn't come. Instead, the scratching got worse. Then it stopped. Silence. I'd started drifting off when I heard something else. Footsteps. Heavy, slow, deliberate. Coming from below. Fuck this, I muttered, tossing back the rest of my drink and grabbing the bat from under my bed. It was probably a raccoon, I told myself. Maybe some stray animal had found its way into the basement. Nothing more. Nothing worth being scared of. But when I reached the basement door, my heart started hammering. The doorknob was cold, like touching ice. I took a deep breath, turned it, and stepped into the dark. My flashlight barely cut through the blackness down there. The smell hit me first, damp, rotten, like something had been festering down here for years. The scratching started again, louder now, like something big was dragging its claws across stone. I followed the sound, my footsteps echoing in the silence, the floorboards creaking beneath me. And then I saw it. A hole. In the far corner of the basement. A gaping black pit I swear wasn't there before. It looked like the earth had opened up, like something had torn through the concrete, leaving behind a jagged, uneven tunnel. That's when I saw the eyes. Two glowing, bloodshot eyes staring at me from the darkness of the hole. My breath caught in my throat. The thing stepped into the light, and I felt bile rise in my throat. It was human, or at least, it had been at one point. Its skin was sagging, peeling, dripping like candle wax, with long, matted hair hanging in clumps from its head. It was naked, its flesh a rotting gray, and its limbs were unnaturally long. Thin, twisted arms ending in sharp, claw-like hands. The smell of decay was overwhelming. "What the fuck are you?" I breathed, stepping back. The thing didn't answer. It just grinned. A wide, toothy grin that split its face in two, showing jagged, yellowed teeth. Then it lunged. I swung the bat, but it was fast, too fucking fast. It grabbed me by the throat, lifting me off the ground like I weighed nothing. The stench of its breath made my eyes water, like rotting meat left out in the sun. I could feel the claws digging into my skin, hot blood dripping down my neck as it leaned in close, that grotesque smile never leaving its face. "You hear it now, don't you?" it whispered, its voice like nails on a chalkboard, scraping against my skull. "The hunger. The scratching, it's coming for you." I gasped, struggling to breathe as it tightened its grip around my throat. Panic set in. This wasn't just an animal, it wasn't some wild creature. This thing, it was intelligent. It knew what it was doing. And it was enjoying it. The world began to blur, the edges of my vision fading to black. I thrashed, kicked, but it was like fighting against steel. Then, out of pure desperation, I managed to swing the bat again, this time connecting with its head. The thing howled in pain, dropping me to the floor, and I gasped for air, crawling backward as fast as I could. It snarled, clutching its head, thick black blood oozing from the wound. But it wasn't down. It wasn't even close to being finished with me. I scrambled to my feet and ran, bolting up the stairs, slamming the basement door behind me. But it didn't stay shut for long. The door burst open, wood splintering as the creature came through, claws tearing into the walls, pulling itself into the hallway. It was faster now, more furious, like my resistance had only pissed it off. It crashed through the house, snarling, the sound of its claws scraping against the floor filling the air. I barely had time to grab the kitchen knife before it was on me again. I slashed at it wildly, cutting into its flesh, but it didn't care. It grabbed me by the arm, claws digging deep into my skin, and I screamed as it twisted, snapping the bone with a sickening crack. Pain exploded through my body, and I collapsed, blood pouring from the wound, my vision going white with agony. The creature loomed over me, grinning that same horrific grin. It leaned down, its rancid breath hot against my face. "You're going to die here," it whispered, its voice like broken glass. "Just like the others." Others? What others? I didn't have time to ask. It raised its claws, ready to tear into me, and that's when something clicked. Maybe it was the pain, or the adrenaline, but I found the strength to grab the knife again, this time plunging it into its chest. The creature let out an ear-piercing scream, black blood spraying from the wound, covering me in the foul-smelling sludge. It staggered back, clawing at the knife, its grin faltering for the first time. I didn't wait for it to recover. I grabbed the bat and swung with every ounce of strength I had left. Again. And again. And again. Until its skull cracked open, and the thing finally stopped moving. I collapsed on the floor, covered in blood, its blood, my blood, and just lay there, gasping for air. My arm was broken, my body was screaming in pain, but I was alive. Somehow, I had survived. I wish I could tell you that was the end of it. That killing the thing meant I was free, that the nightmare was over. But that would be a lie. I'm not alone. The scratching, it's still here. Louder now. Closer. And every time I look in the mirror, I see something in my eyes. Something that wasn't there before. I hear it. That hunger. And I'm afraid that soon, it's going to be me crawling out of that basement.